Okay everyone, this is Mr. Clayton. This video is to help you to fill in the table that is part of this task. We can see here that it reads, below is a link. So this link here, this lists the largest cities in the world. You've got to choose 5 megacities. They have to be cities with a population of over 10 million people. And for each city, you've got to fill in the table that can be found in the document below. That's this one here. So the first thing I'll do is open up this document here. It takes you to Wikipedia. Okay. If we scroll down, you don't need to read all this jargon up here. You can if you wish. Here are the largest cities, and you can see that they are listed in order of population. So 24,256,800, and the numbers decrease. Okay, so we're only interested in cities that have more than 10 million. So as soon as we see the 9 kick in here, then we are not allowed to do those cities. So choose one of these up the top. So let's go with that one with the biggest population, Shanghai in China. Okay, I'm just going to switch over to the table. Okay, so once you've decided on the city, pop it in here. Okay, you also want to find out the latitude and longitude of the city that you're doing. So we'll just go back here, open up a new tab, type in the name of the city, Shanghai, then put in latitude, and spell. Here it is here. There you go. And it will do a search. And our job will be to find a website, open her up, and there you go. And you can record this data down. So it's 31 degrees north and 121 degrees east. These are your latitude and longitude. Make sure you write latitude first, followed by longitude. Okay. Going back to our table. So that's what you do for latitude and longitude. You also want to document the population. So that was this one here. And what we'll need to do is also paste a satellite image showing the size and shape of the city. So I'm going to show you how to do that now. What I like to do is go to Google Maps, type in Shanghai. So it'll come up, Shanghai, China. Okay, so when you're in Google Maps, you'll notice you have all these labels. I particularly don't want the labels because you can't see much of what's actually happening on the screen. So what you can do is you can turn the labels off by clicking that button there. If you're using an iPad, there'll be somewhere where you can manage to do that. So here's Shanghai. Okay, you'll notice that if we look at the image, we've got green areas. These are not urban areas. So I would suggest that the border of Shanghai goes something like this, and this is the area we want to capture. So zoom yourself in so that you get the full area, like so. You might want to get the river in as well. Something like that would be perfectly fine. Take a screenshot of that and simply insert it into the table. Okay, does that make sense? Alright, then we move over here, we've got to do climate. Now, what I recommend doing for climate, it's quite simple. When you're in here, looking at your list of cities, let's take Shanghai, click on the city name. It's going to open up a Wikipedia page all about Shanghai. And if we scroll down, we can come down to where it says geography, climate, click on there, and it will take you to this part here. Now our job was to describe the climate. Okay, I would read this and I would write down information. I'm particularly interested in the type of climate and you know what kind of weather they get. So things like thunderstorms, that winds come from the north, from Siberia, therefore it's cold. So they get cold fronts, can be below freezing. These are the sorts of information that I'd like to see. Okay, so have a read through that part. And down here, annual rainfall. You can find that on this chart. Okay. Now we've got, we've got degrees Celsius. That's all temperature, and we get down to average precipitation. Each month is listed all the way down. We want to go to the year. We want to go down to the average precipitation all the way along here. Okay. So the millimeters are here. So it gets 1,166.1 millimeters per year on average. And that's measured over a number of years, so the data is quite accurate. It actually says up here, from 1981 to 2010. Okay, so pop that into that box. We need to identify the month and the amount of the highest rainfall. So here's our rainfall column, or row. We're looking for the highest number. We've got 213 here. So we'd write down 213 and we'd write down the month, which is August. You can see that right there. Okay, do the same thing for average yearly temperature. We're going to work with the maximum temperature, so the average high degrees temperature. And again, we scroll across to the end of the year, and we see that the figure is 20.58, and that's degrees Celsius. If it's in brackets, it's in Fahrenheit, so it's 69 Fahrenheit. So that's your temperature. You can also work out the driest month. Again, look at rainfall. And again, it's like we had the highest number. We're looking for the lowest number. And we want to identify which month that occurred in. To me, it looks like it's in December. And generally speaking, more rainfall occurs during June, July, and August than in other parts of the year. So it's a wet time of year. Now, we should also note that June, July, and August in Shanghai is actually summer because their seasons are opposite to us. They're in the northern hemisphere. So yes, driest month, write it down. Hemisphere, city can be found in, we just discussed that, so northern hemisphere for Shanghai. The location and distance of an international airport from the city. So we want to go back to our map. Okay. There's different ways you can go about this. You can look for it and try and zoom in and find out where it is. You could possibly search for it. Shanghai Airport. So it looks like that could be it. And here we go. So it comes up and it shows us where it is. It'll zoom you in. If you don't want to be zoomed in, just zoom yourself out. Maybe take a note of it. Decide for yourself whether it's a large one or a small one, or important. Our labels have come up again. Never mind. But to calculate the distance, so consider where it's got Shanghai. We want to work out how far it is and in what direction it is from Shanghai. So if that's north, from Shanghai it's basically an east-southeasterly direction. And to work out the distance, we have a scale here. So estimate in fives. I'm going to do that right now with my mouse to show you. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So maybe 30 kilometers is the distance. So fill it in. Okay, location and distance. Main industries can be found in here. So we've got climate, cityscape. That's just all about government, how it's set up. Further down the page we get to economy. Demographics just means what the population is made up of. Boys, girls, etc. Age, things like that. Religion, education. So we keep scrolling down. It's looking interesting. Well, we have industry on here. Sports doesn't look like it. If it can't find it, the answer might be in economy. Just going to go back to the top where I've got this. Don't see industry anywhere. Let's click on economy. Okay, you might have to read this information to find out what kind of industries they are. I do know that Shanghai manufactures a lot of things and exports them at ports. It's something else that you'll need to do is actually identify the name and location of shipping ports. So we'll finish this off here. So the main industries, read the economy section if you don't have a heading for industries. Just jot down how they make their money, essentially. Let's go to shipping ports. Go back to our Wikipedia page. See here, you've got Shanghai Port. If we were to click that, anything blue that's got a link will take you to some information about Shanghai's ports. So we've got Port of Shanghai, so I might go to my map. Once again, type in Port of Shanghai. See what it tells us. Okay, the airport. Might need to scroll around a little. Cruise ships. I'd say it would be in here. You can zoom in. You can see, yes, we've got all these containers here, indicating that this is a port. Okay. So this area here can be your port area. We've got to work out the name of it. So we've got that, Port of Shanghai, and the location of the port. Okay, so we might say from the city centre it is northeast. And we might be able to use the direct distance again, and perhaps estimate the length to give us a bit more detail about its shape, its size, and its location. You could also possibly say that it's on the name of this river, whatever that may be. That might require a bit more research. Here it is, the Yangtze River. That's, by the way, China's largest and longest river system. Let's go back here. All right. So you've got to get some pictures of the cityscape. So this is a simple Google image search. Paste a picture in here. Paste another picture in here. Try to get different perspectives. Okay. Show different things. And then we want to put natural geographic features found in or around the city. Okay, so you could use, if we go back to our original search on Shanghai, go to the top, look for geography. Here it is here. Okay, so click on geography, read this, you'll get an idea as to what sorts of features are around it, things like the Yangtze River. A delta is where a river meets the sea. This in here is the delta. Little islands that pop up in amongst the river system. You want to identify things like if it's next to an ocean, write down the name of the ocean. If it's on a river, write down the name of the river. If it's next to a mountain range, write down the name of the mountain range. Okay. If there are some islands that are important, write them down. Okay. Just fill that table in. You will have already written down the name of the airport. And if you don't know what any of these terms mean, just click on it and it will explain. Anyway, that's how you fill in this table. Now, you've got to do 5 cities. So I've placed 5 tables. Just rinse and repeat. Do the same thing for each other city. Okay. And that concludes